my mind, boards have always had three things to do. One is strategy, the second is leadership, and the third is risk. The strategy was obviously not about writing the strategy, but just checking the strategy. Leadership was largely around the CEO focus. I mean, I think one of the core obligations of a board or responsibilities is the CEO. And the third is risk. But I think if you go to COVID, post-COVID, if you think about the area of strategy, so I think the first thing is that what boards have got to do is make sure that the leadership team or the executive team actually has plans for growth, not just plans for survival. But I think what you've got to ensure is that the executive team and the CEO actually have a plan for growth either in COVID or post-COVID. And I think that getting an organization to focus on the future, while some of them are actually, trying to decide how do we survive, is not easy, but I think it's critical. I think the second thing that comes from that is boards, companies have got to do a better job of defining their long-term value and how much of either the downside or the upside is due to COVID. I think the third one is this concept of embracing ESG as a business imperative. I think it's becoming even more important. If you think about the number of companies that even spoke about ESG probably, 10 years ago, minimal 5 years ago, somewhat, but certainly public company boards really need to talk about ESG and link it to how they are going to deliver growth. So around leadership, it's really a broader talent agenda. And part of it is just, how is the executive team and the leadership team actually coping and making sure that they're actually looking after themselves as well as they're trying to look after, obviously, all the employees and everybody else in the organization. And then I think a big issue that's obviously, I think everyone knows about is just mental health. What is the sort of mental health of the leadership team, the CEO, the organization, and then a lot of work around, how do we go back to work? What are the procedures and policies for getting back to work? It's very important that the board understands what is the implication for return to work. And then in terms of risk, I think it's pretty clear. I don't think management teams are putting enough effort behind prioritizing what I'll call cybersecurity and data privacy. I think boards in a weird way are actually ahead of most executive teams in that space. The executive teams think it's important. But then you go, well, have you got a chief technology officer? So I think this is an area where boards really are being much more intrusive. The second one is obviously addressing, geopolitics and obviously racial tensions, the whole racial unrest and what's the company's position and what are they going to do about it? Not just words and actions are also part of the discussion today. And then I think what's also going on right now is a massive board composition reset. I'm getting actually asked to be on a lot of boards because I think a lot of boards are looking for skill sets that they traditionally didn't have. Cybersecurity, data privacy, shortfall is really understanding the customer experience at the board level. The fundamentals haven't changed, strategy, leadership, and risk. The underpinning of all of those has changed. I think boards are being more inquisitive, being more, challenging.